Oh, another video. Fuck, I forgot to mention this. This guy popped up. I put it in the Amen Drop the Mic folder, which has got a lot of videos, and the Weak People Make Hard/Stupid Times, which has got less videos. I put them in both because I have a lot of visitors on this channel, so I'm just trying to make my dent in the universe. Where he was talking about why he stopped rebuilding. It sounds like he rebuilded hot rod engines, for like classic cars. So they're new parts, right? But they're like, old for like old carburetors and stuff. And I saved that, and then I watched a couple other videos, and he was talking about comebacks and how, if a vehicle comes back, the customer doesn't pay for that. So technicians have to eat it. So, shops lose money, technicians lose money, however that works. If you're paid by the hour, commission, I don't know. But he was talking about, comebacks, more like never leaves. And he was talking about, like, the rounding out of cams. It was funny because he's all, it might take 5 months, it might take 5 minutes. Oh, man. Things are such fucking shit. Did you hear the one about the ride that, like, broke? And I don't know if this is a thing, because I started seeing this like 10 years ago where I would see signs blown over, street signs, and they were just blown, they weren't blown over like at the weak point, like where they bolted together or anything. They were just blown over. So I remember I did a video about that. I'm like, what's happening? Are we running out of, elements, like iron and zinc and all these stuff that we use to make metal? Because metal is like an ingredient, right? It's like a cake mix, how much different earth elements you use, how you smelt them, what temperature. Do you cool them fast? Do you cool them cool? I mean, it's working with metal. It's the same thing with like welding and shit, And I thought, are we running out of shit? Because nobody wants a mine in their backyard. Are the great-grandsons of the founders of these quarries and mines cutting corners? And these are all multi-billionaires, by the way, right? So it's like, fuck you, you sons of bitches, That money, it's not going towards, the employees, or whatever. I mean, they're trying to, they're squeezing the nickel to the buffalo shits and this, that, and the other. Or maybe they're not. What the hell do I know? But, that's generally kind of how that shit works, you know what I mean? Like that movie Office Space. They're letting all those people go, and that guy's like, so Lumbar stock will go up 0.25%. And it's like, yeah, I think that is kind of how that works. Because I've seen TV shows, which is where all legitimate information comes from. About like the CEOs of these companies, billionaires, like this person is worth they're not worth $1 million. They're not worth $50 million. They're not worth $100 million. They're not worth $500 million. This person, or maybe it's their company name, legacy. No, it's them. It's not the company. Is worth billions with a Z. Not 1 billion, not 10 billion. Oh, 20 billion, 50 billion. It's like, what the fuck? Why do you not have a little section, with where you offer, free blowjobs? Complimentary blowjobs for the community. Not that you'd want to partake in that shit, but, it's like, fuck. That is an ungodly amount of money. I mean, you and yours and your family and your family's family and your next of kin and in-laws, I mean, you couldn't spend that money if you fucking had to. You would literally have to heap it in mountains and set it on fire. Stacks of 100s. Shit. But I'm just saying, I'm not, hey, if you earn it, hey, I'm just saying, shit. Why are all these signs blowed over? I'm never going on an amusement ride again. I'm probably ever going to fly if well, it's the shit that makes the news, you know what I mean? But, pardon my enthusiasm, but, it's the times are different, man. They did that, they did an investigation on the safety, quality and control of, like, Boeing, and it's like out of the, 100 critical things that they were supposed to do that, ensured the safety of, human life, not just property, but human life. They had 100 things that were critical, and they were only doing like 30 of them. Now, I just threw that number out there just to make a point. And I've said this before. I think the first time I said this was like 7 years ago, 10 years ago, I don't even know. I said, sometimes I think life is an episode of The Simpsons or South Park, which is basically The Simpsons, only grown up and crude. So, because I walked into a McDonald's and I said, here, this is, I had a big, huge 64-ounce mug. And I said, can I fill this? This is 64 ounces. Your large is 32 ounces. So can I pay for two large drinks and just fill this mug? And the goddamn fucking manager was like, no, you can't. You have to fill these two 32-ounce cups. Oh, Kaydee-Boo.